Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, yeah, I'm in the boozer. That's what I am. Look at this. Proper official whiskey. Cheers, y'all. And the camera is propped up on another large whiskey right behind you guys right now. Anyway, folks, this is an immediate reaction to having just seen Furiosa, my most anticipated movie of this year. In fact, most of the last few years, this is the film I've been looking forward to. And me and my son went there to the first official UK showing. Get the phone, somebody. Went to the first official UK showing down the road at our local flea pit, the Light Cinema, which is awesome. It's not a flea pit, it's great cinema. And we're both massive fans of Mad Max. You guys know this. I've been banging on about Furiosa. I've banged on about all the Mel Gibson movies and all the Tom Hardy Fury Road. They are excellent. They are all awesome. That was the ice bucket going over there. And there'll be a fair few distractions, I would have thought. And in the run-up to this, we watched all the original Mad Max movies and Fury Road. And we went to see this with bated breath, very excited, and wow. Gotta be honest. Wow. Big wow. Underlined, multiple exclamation marks after it. This film is fucking awesome. Absolutely fucking awesome. Now, you're going to see a lot of reviews. Well, I already had seen many reviews saying that, oh, it's not like Fury Road. It's not like a relentless chase. We know that. This is the backstory to Furiosa herself, the Charlize Theron character for Period. It's not Charlize Theron, it is Anya Taylor-Joy. And a younger girl, whose name, sadly, at this moment, I've forgotten. But she carries half the movie, almost. And she's brilliant. It's chapterized, but it's her evolution as a character and how she meets Dementus, Dr. Dementus, played by Chris Hemsworth, how she loses her mother. These are no spoilers. I'm not going to do any spoilers here at all. And then she'll meet Immortan Joe and she'll rise to fame and glory, and will she get her revenge? Well, we kind of know what happens here in Fury Road because this film leads into Fury Road. But we were looking forward to this, and 2.5 hours of absolute rip-roaring car carnage, vehicular violence. And it's a tapestry. It is a work of art. George Miller is the action director supremo. There's no one to touch him. No one. Don't care. Even the John Wick movies. The John Wick movies are physical violence. It's 1-on-1 or 1-on-20, whatever Keanu Reeves takes on, and that is pure ballistic enjoyment. It's a bullet opera, but this is cars. I know John Wick uses cars as well and other vehicles, but they're not on a par with what George Miller does. These are extravaganzas. They're epic. This one is definitely epic. It certainly isn't mediocre. It is a joyful exploration of absolute high speed, high octane frenzy. You've seen nothing like this. Well, no, you have. You've seen all the other Mad Max movies, but this does lift it up another degree, another notch or two on the physical stunts. There are people. They're just careering through the air at high speed. They're climbing over vehicles, moving at high speed. They're jumping from one vehicle to another. They're doing all sorts. You have airborne antics in this one. Airborne stuff. I'm going to do a full, obviously, more in-depth, more detailed review at some point very soon. But I'm going to have to come and see it again, first of all. Because there's lots of stuff happening in the frame, loads of things going on, and loads of references and homages to the original movies. And yeah, as I foretold, and as you all know now, if you've been following any of this stuff, you know that Mad Max is actually in there. But it's not Tom Hardy, it is not Mel Gibson. It is Tom Hardy's stunt double. And if you've seen a lot of people's reviews already, they're saying it's a blink and you miss it. Well, no way at all. If you're sitting there on your phone for 5 minutes going, I'm watching Furiosa, man, more popcorn, and then you look up, yeah, you may have missed it then. It's a very, very obvious and 3 or 4 second shot, that's quite long in cinematic movie time, and it's great. It's great. But it's not, as I say, it's not Mel Gibson, it's not Tom Hardy, it is Tom Hardy's frequent stunt double. But it's in there, and that's George Miller just going like, look, I know I've called this Furiosa a Mad Max saga, which, by the way, that subtitle, it doesn't need to be there, because it really doesn't have anything to do with Max whatsoever. So he could have got away with that, but I think Miller's just going, well, there's people coming to this. It looks like Mad Max, but it's called Furiosa. Is that from the original? I don't get it. Where's Mad Max? So he's just tagged that on there, a Mad Max saga. And in all honesty, it doesn't need to be there, because it kind of does mislead people. They're going to think Max is part and parcel of this entire escapade, which he certainly ain't. He's a casual observer of some events. But my God, look at that. Look at the size of that hand. Big whiskey. Sadly, it comes back here, it's a lot less whiskey. But hey ho. Cheers, y'all. In the first, 45 minutes to 50 minutes, just before the first hour mark, I was saying to Luke, this is the best film I've ever seen. But that's not unusual for me, because I get very smitten with stuff immediately. I'm really, oh my God. And, well, I've explained before, I'm a nightmare to sit with at the flicks. There's a fight going on, I'm fighting as well. There's car chases, I'm like, whoa, all over the place. And I can't drive, remember. But I get heavily involved. Now, I'm getting older now, so, I'm not quite as reactive and instinctive. But I was getting there with this, genuinely. And there were moments where I realised I hadn't taken a breath for a good, it seemed like a long time. I was because your eyes are pinned on the screen, and you're like, oh, you're there. The adrenaline is rushing through your veins. It is absolutely pulse pounding. So to finish off what I almost said before, I started it but didn't actually follow through with the entire thought process. People who are saying it's not action packed, it's not one long chase movie. No, it isn't. But it's a movie of multiple chases, action, stuff, chaos, anarchy, all the time. 2 hours 25 minutes this movie lasts for. Okay, 10 minutes of that is credits. And by the way, watch those credits, because interspersed with the credits, again, no spoiler, it shows you images and scenes, like 3 or 4 second snippets from Fury Road, because this movie bleeds into Fury Road. So you've got that. And then stay for the air, because everyone else had gone from the cinema. And it was me and my son, and probably 10, maybe 12 other people. I think a couple of couples, but mainly just individuals. And I was bedecked in all this malarkey. And but the post credits, after the credits finished, there is a little moment, a little flash moment, which made us roar with laughter. It is from Fury Road, but that doesn't matter. But it was great. The dialogue in this movie is fantastic. Chris Hemsworth owns this movie. He is relentlessly hysterical. Yeah, he's got the big prosthetic schnoz and manky teeth. But I've said this before, that, oh God, so he's wearing a red cape. He's got long hair and a beard. He's got muscles. He's the rogue Thor. There's a reason why his cape is red, and it's not because he's wearing a red cape. Something happens to make his billowing cape red. That's all it is. But it definitely is. Miller's playing on that, sure. But say right now, before I forget this, because I've made no notes on it whatsoever, but Hemsworth's Dementus is a combination of Jack Sparrow and Robert De Niro's Max Cady. He is a reprehensible bastard of a villain, but he's also intensely charismatic and really fun to be around. He's hysterically funny. His dialogue is brilliant. I hung on every word that he said, and you've got so many other returning characters as well, which is great. Some of whom, in the original movie, obviously Hugh Keays-Byrne, who played Immortan Joe, who was the toe cutter from 1979's original Mad Max, he's dead. So you've got another guy playing him brilliantly as well. But you've got people in multiple roles. You've got Chris Hemsworth's wife is playing 2 separate roles in this movie. Yeah. And the guy that playing Immortan Joe plays another guy working for Dementus. He's a guy with one eye. Little spoiler there. But the guy playing him is playing Immortan Joe. You've got Tom Burke as Praetorian Jack, and he's fantastic. The film is violent. It doesn't linger too much. I know in America it got like an R rating, a hard R rating. In this country, in the UK, it's a 15, and justifiably so. But it is not that nasty. The things that happen to people, the tortures and the atrocities that Dementus commits and his biker horde commit on people they capture, is really bad. But don't go. It's not graphic. It isn't. A lot of it's implied, and it's super nasty what happens. But don't go worrying about graphic stuff. However, you've got war boys catapulted through the air. You've got vehicles overtaking, people on fire almost all the time. There's bombs going in, and those explosive sticks. People are ablaze all the time. So there's tons of action. This is what I've got to get across. This is not a slow movie at all. It's chapterized. It's an epic telling of Hair Tale, and it starts off thunderous. It carries on thunderous, and it grows to a cacophony, and then it will peter out to a really beautiful, poetic, and really quite, enjoyable denouement. See, even with a few whiskies down my neck, because I didn't come straight in here. I'll be honest. I did go to the pub round the corner first, and then I come in here, and I've already had 2 whiskies in here. That's actually 4 whiskies I've had already. This would be number 5, and number 6 is behind you. Cheers, y'all. But I'm not going to say too much more because I'm going to go really in depth. But I wanted to get something out there right now. I got really annoyed by the fact that this film showed at Cannes. Oh, that's great. No worries. Didn't invite me then. Thanks very much. But all the press screenings and there are definitely screeners that are out there. No one came to me. Oh, Kilt-Man, you have done tons and tons for all the Mad Max movies. You've been promoting this. You've done the soundtrack review. You've done everything. But no one asked me, do they? Is that sour grapes, Kilt-Man? I don't care. I'm doing what I do anyway. Speaking of the soundtrack, Tom Holtenberg and Junkie XL, formerly known as the artist, formerly known as Junkie XL. I reviewed his score, and I remember saying, like, this is relentless build-up. It's just nothing but build. It's but there's no real frenzy stuff. All the action and chaos of Fury Road and his score for that. And I thought, well, in the film it'll be different. No, it's not. But don't take that as a detriment, because the score that he has come up with, which you can buy right now, and it's I think pretty much all of it is there. There may be some extra bits as well, but it is relentless build-up, because the way the film is structured and the action scenes that we see, of which dominate the movie, that music actually fits. It's not wrong at all. It is build, and then, a sustain, and then something will happen, and then the chase is over, the action bit is over, something else will happen, then we're going to have another one. It doesn't have that huge kinetic sort of finale. That doesn't mean the action scenes don't. It's just the music doesn't have it, and the music works perfectly well with the film. Folks, you've got to see Furiosa. You've got to. It is genuinely fucking awesome. It is filmmaking with every single degree of filmmaking. The story, the dialogue is incredible. Just hysterical. Cinematography is outstanding. The stunts, the sheer number of extras, and the sheer mythical world building is staggering. Films that you could liken it to Lawrence of Arabia, Ben-Hur, all the Mad Max movies, obviously, any revenge drama you can think of. But in Miller's hands, it does strike out in its own direction. It's chapterized, as I said before, which is a deviation from what you've seen before, because all the films beforehand have been pretty much linear. Mad Max takes place over not a long period of time, but a couple of weeks, a couple of months maybe. Road Warrior, a few days, that's it. Beyond Thunderdome, a few days, that's it. Fury Road, a couple of days, that's it. This, it's years and years. Don't get bogged down with the timeline. George Miller himself admits he doesn't give a shit about the timeline. It doesn't matter. You get a portentous intro, and you get like an outro narration style, which I like. If you haven't seen the film, I'm afraid if you've got the soundtrack already and you've heard the final narration on the soundtrack, there's the biggest spoiler of all, because and I said this when I reviewed it as well, that they've given away the ending, and they definitely did, to a huge character, which I think was a bit of a mistake there. Should have put that on the album. I really don't think that was a wise move. But anyway, cheers y'all. I loved it, absolutely loved it. I was energized coming out of it, like Fury Road. Not maybe to the same degree, because you've got to remember, Fury Road is the finale of Furiosa's story, obviously, but also the finale of Mad Max's saga. George Miller, he's almost 80, or has he turned 80? During the course of this video, he's probably turned 80. And it takes him a while to make these movies, several years to make these films. The Wasteland, which is meant to be the Mad Max prequel to to Fury Road, he's got to make that. So God, pray for George Miller to last and to make this movie, because we need it. This will be Max's story in the lead up to Fury Road. So what I'm saying is, like, Fury Road we've already seen the finale to all this. George Miller has said he's not gonna approach Mel Gibson to come back as an old Mad Max. He's not gonna approach Tom Hardy to come back as an old Mad Max. He's never envisaged the story of an old Mad Max. It just hasn't happened. He can't visualize it. He hasn't done the story. Furiosa, he wrote when he made Fury Road. He wrote this film you're going to see. He's already done the script. He's already written the story for it right then, alongside Fury Road. But he also gave Max a lead-up prequel to Fury Road. How Max got to that present predicament. So you're going to get the Wasteland, hopefully, and that'll be Max's story. Now, of course, with that, we know he's going to have to up the ante really, really stratospherically, because it's Max in the Interceptor. Oh, hell, oh God. Mate, I absolutely love it. It's very Australian, very Aussie. So much of the dialogue, so much of the stuff that they're saying, the jargon and the slang is very Aussie, and that's a great thing as well. And the desert, you've never seen a desert as beautiful or as drastic or as harsh, but so entrancing and hypnotic at the same time. You thought you saw that with Fury Road. Obviously, Broken Hill in Mad Max 2, and all the desert stuff for Bartertown and Beyond Thunderdome is really epic as well. And the gorge in the land, the Eden for the lost tribe of Kittens and all that is beautiful to look at. Fury Road was filmed in Namibia. This is not. This is filmed in Australia. But bloody hell, it looks exactly the same. Now, okay, the CG. Yes, there's a hell of a lot of CG in this. There is. But don't go look at them trailers and go, oh, it looks really shoddy, cartoon. There's many, many shots where you know that's the camera will zoom in through the cab window. You got two drivers there and two characters there, but that's CG bringing them in. They're driving a vehicle through a desert, but there's compositing taking place. There is green screen stuff without a doubt. Is it bad? No, not at all. Do you notice it? Well, yeah, you will notice it, but does it bother you? No. Don't be stupid. Anyone who levels any complaint about, oh, there's too much CG in this movie, it looks shit. Well, they're idiots. They're liars and they're idiots. You can see it because your brain tells you that. But the amount of physical stunts, the amount of physical stuff taking place, real buildings and chimneys and huge things coming down, big explosions, people fly. Oh, there's something I should mention. This wasn't meant to be in detail, was it? This was a quick reaction. But everything looks... it's a comic book brought to life as all the Mad Max movies have been. So, but obviously in the first 3, there was no CG. There was, you might have had a bit of matte stuff taking place in Beyond Thunderdome. But beyond that, I think I'm lying there. Why did I even say that? I don't think they did do that in Beyond Thunderdome. But you had everything in Fury Road, but it kind of blended a lot better. This, you will notice more things, but it's neither here nor there, folks. The thing I just said, I'll come back to that. There is something in this which, and I'm surprised no one's mentioned this. Remember a certain little thing happened in October last year in Israel? Sorry to bring this in, and people don't want to hear this, but there is a war taking place out there. Hamas used paragliders to go in and cause carnage, chaos, kill innocent people and abduct many people and take them back to Gaza. Now you have paragliders in this. This was done before that happened, but you do have paragliders. And they're bad guys, they're coming in with machine guns and they're doing stuff. And, if you can't make that connection, then, you're not keeping up with their events in the real world. But, George Miller did it beforehand, but I think I noticed it and thought, oh. But hey, it still looks amazing. The stunts, the airborne stuff, the people in midair and landing on the deck, the people on vehicles and landing on the deck, the people going under wheels. I don't know how many people go under the wheels of different vehicles. It's like, if you want to be in this movie, well, sign a contract here. What's it saying there? Oh, at some point you will go under the wheels of a big vehicle. Do you want to be in a movie or not? Sign there. Because everyone goes under wheels. Everybody. It's crunch time. Big crunch time. But it's fantastic. Fantastic. And it blends perfectly with Fury Road. Folks, look, I'm almost out of whiskey here. And the reason why I'm going to cut this now is because the other whiskies behind you is propping my fucking camera up. There's Belinda Carlisle. Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. I don't know. As disastrously horrible as the people and the tribes and the clans are in the Wasteland, as Chris Hemsworth, Dementus, actually says, we've all lost people, you know, and you know, I'm doing what I do. There's no spoiler, you know. We've got to survive, and we've got to have fun doing it. Do you think I enjoyed watching this to begin with? But no, I've got to have fun. Everything, all the pain we've been through, everything that's happened to us, we're trying to find a sensation and emotion to try to mask the pain that we have. Excuse me. So you've got to up the ante every time. I've used that phrase twice in this video. I'm getting repetitive in my old age. But he's a likeable guy. And he's got reasons for doing what he's doing. Whether you like them or you don't. You know, he's not just, you know, a power-hungry, bloodthirsty warlord. He's not. There's a psychology behind him, but you're gonna have to go through the odyssey to find it all out. But it's worth it. It's so worth it. This film, folks, blew me away. I said to my son is a massive Mad Max devotee as well, and a huge cinephile. We walked in there, and like the guy went, "Oh, you come here all the time, don't you?" I think he only said that because there was a guy next to him dressed like this and with a kilt. And there's a kilt in the movie slit from Fury Road, who's Nux' partner initially. The same guy who plays a guy called Scrotus. Scrotus. He wears a leather kilt in this movie. There you go. I was given a leather kilt. No way, chaps. No way. I ain't doing it. I am currently wearing the Hunting McLeod. Yes, McLeod, as in the clan McLeod from Highlander. You've seen it before. I've worn it many times. If you don't believe me, I shall show you. Well, there you go. There it is. There it is. And Max's jacket, of course. So it's fucking awesome, folks. I want to go and see it again. We were meant to go and see it a second time, but that hasn't transpired for other reasons. But I will be seeing it again, maybe tonight, perhaps, and certainly tomorrow. So you're gonna get a full. This is the non-spoiler review, isn't it? That's basically what I've done. I've done not an immediate reaction. I've done a non-spoiler review, but you're gonna get the full in-depth one probably tomorrow. So get your asses out there and go and see Furiosa and Mad Max Saga. You will not be disappointed. I guarantee. If you didn't like Fury Road, then you won't like this. If you don't like Mad Max movies at all, then you won't like this. But if you do like those two former things I just mentioned, you're going to have a ball with this. It is different in its construction. It takes over many, many years. And the young girl playing Furiosa is outstanding. And you spend a long time with her. And she's excellent. There's a few tricks of the trade which keep repeating because she's learning, she's knowing, and it's worked before, I'll do it again. Oh no. I loved it. This is such a huge, worthy addition to the Mad Max franchise and the whole mythology. His world building literally knows no bounds. Forget Star Wars is nothing compared to the realism and believability of these tribes coming up. You know, in Star Wars, the banking clan. The banking clan. You've got a race of people who just you know, economics and finance, and loans. But the fuck off. Stupidity, pure childish stuff. Shouldn't compare the two, but you can't help it because you know they're both epic in scope. They both deal with revenge and action aplenty. Every couple of minutes there's an action scene. That's Star Wars way. The Star Wars tried to make things more emotional and failed dismally. Make things darker, failed dismally. The Mad Max saga has done all this continually and successfully right from day one. And I will say as well that I may have said before, I've forgotten now, in all this, hyperbole and all this fun and raconteurship, that this film actually does hark back to Mad Max 79, especially in a lot of the earlier sequences where you've got Dementus and his biker horde, who are just a biker horde of marauders. They haven't got any territory of their own, but they are just rampaging around the wilderness, the wasteland, and taking out anybody, and doing horrible things. It is very reminiscent, albeit on a larger scale, of the Toe Cutter and his gang. Then, the Knight Rider's gang, but Knight Rider dies, Toe Cutter takes over. Toe Cutter played by Hugh Keys-Byrne, who is Immortan Joe in Fury Road. Yeah, you know all this. But when you see all the bikes and all the revving up and like going off, even though it's a much vaster landscape, a much visually different sort of image, but it evoked the Toe Cutter and his gang, and I thought that was great. It took everything right back to 1979, and it had that ethos behind it. And the three bike chariot that Dementus controls, it's outstanding. It really is. The stunts here, which do not even involve vehicles at all, the stuff, high-rise stuff, and just it's going to blow your mind. Folks, I have been always Shelby Kilt-Man, so please, in the meantime, and if ever, will you someone pass me that whiskey in between time? Please keep it kilted, keep it Celtic, and keep it demented. Gotta go, gotta go!